I struggled with body dysmorphia, and I don't talk about it a whole lot. But I had one of those childhoods where my parents were divorced before I was born. They were in multiple other marriages, and there was a lot of unrest, a lot of change, a lot of unknown for me, really all of my childhood. And when I think about my childhood, there's plenty of positive, but a lot of it I kind of had to raise myself. And so in retrospect, I didn't really have anyone there reminding me to brush my teeth. I didn't have someone to teach me to floss, and I didn't go in for regular teeth cleanings. Now, on top of that, when my life felt out of control, I was looking for something to control. And I struggled with feeling not enough. And how that showed up was looking in the mirror and always feeling like I was fat, feeling like I wasn't enough. And I could control my food. I can control whether my food stayed in my body. I experimented with diet pills, and I know that all of that really was detrimental to my dental health. Obviously, bulimia, that was no good. The diet pills, I know that that was wreaking havoc on my gut dysbiosis, on my gut health, but also limiting my body's ability to absorb the nutrients from the food that I was eating. And so then in my early 20s, my first career in Fortune 50, living down in LA, I had a lot of dental work done. And I remember the dentist just going like, WTF, what is going on here? And even at that point, I was still overdoing it on diet pills. I still was trying to find my way with my relationship with food, but more than anything, my relationship with how I looked in the body and who I saw. And my weight would change a lot. In my scenario, I'm 5'2". For those of you that don't know, my energy's big, but I'm a short person. And my weight would range anywhere in my scenario from like 120 to 145. And for me, that was a lot for a little body, even as low as down to 100. Okay. So this 45-pound weight yo-yo, depending on what was going on for me, what relationship I was in, ended up in a relationship with someone that was emotionally and physically abusive. And I was paying the bills. I was running the show, right? So this pattern of not feeling enough, not allowing myself to really receive love, having connectionless intimacy, and dating men who weren't available emotionally. And I probably wasn't available emotionally either. And all of that I tie back to today. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go into the dentist and have this tooth removed. So it's confronting for me. I have to really look at the choices that I made in my teens and my 20s. Now, the good news is by the time that I reached age 30, it really all changed. Okay. I found a new place of self-acceptance. In my scenario, I let myself leave a career that was lucrative, but wasn't fulfilling. I followed my heart. I followed my passion. I left it all behind and did a 1-year around the world trip by myself with a backpack and went into remote villages in Thailand and volunteered in West Africa and made friends and stayed in hostels and just allowed that freedom and flow and for me to really listen into my internal guidance system and intuition. And then I was accepted at Yale for my midwifery training. And for me, as a goal-oriented kind of type A personality, there was something that shifted within me when I arrived at the Yale campus for a 3-year master's program that would be full-time through the summers, all 3 years. And I somehow felt like I'd arrived. In my scenario, I felt proud of myself. I no longer was looking to feel like my dad was proud of me or my mom loved me or I was seen by her. I felt like I'm proud of myself. I didn't get into Yale because of great grades. I didn't get into Yale because I knew anyone. I had never had any support in paying for undergrad, and I definitely wasn't going to have any support in paying for my grad program. I got into that program because I had life experience. and because I brought me and brought depth. And somehow there was an arrival for me. Also, along the journey, I continued to do a deep dive into understanding nutrition and supplementation for me, for my personal specific scenario. I played around with allowing myself to receive love, to receive acceptance, to let people in, and to allow myself to be seen. And I built deep, intimate friendships where I really allowed myself to be seen. And then for those of you that don't know, I set up my last rotation on the Big Island of Hawaii at North Hawaii Community Hospital. And there I was, like home in Hawaii, home in midwifery, doing women's health, catching babies at the hospital. And I met my husband. That was January of 2007. And he proposed our first date. And it was this amazing just knowing for both of us. And I realize now that I had done the work. You know, I met him right at 29 and he had done the work, and we were both really in a place of total self-acceptance, strong in our bodies, strong in how we looked in the mirror and what we knew we wanted and what we were worthy of. And we were willing to receive from one another and also give to one another. And since then, I can tell you that the body dysmorphia, the self-judgment, the yo-yo of weight, the yo-yo of really not treating myself well, it's all dissipated. And so for the last 16 years, I can say that I'm in this chapter of deep self-acceptance, perpetually listening within to my internal guidance system and my intuition. Still type A personality, still driven, you know, showing up as a CEO and a founder, running a successful business, serving really ambitious women all over the world and now men. And I just go pinch me like, wow, I allowed myself to feel worthy of receiving their yes. I allowed myself to look in the mirror and see and feel my power. And now I have the esteemed privilege of supporting game-changing, ripple-affecting individuals around the world that I just feel so, so blessed to be able to support. And it's coming from a place of self-love. It's coming from a place of perpetually addressing my health, not from self-judgment, not from self-loathing, not utilizing eating disorders, but perpetually looking in the mirror with self-love and continuing to fine-tune my nutrition and my personalized supplementation based on the chapter of life that I'm in. And what I can tell you is, other than 3 beautiful pregnancies, my weight is stabilized. And it's usually, in my scenario, right between that 110 to 118, which is really healthy for me. But I don't say that for the sake of the scale.